What's going on, guys? Darren here. It is now episode 3 of the DFF Bootcamp podcast, and I asked you guys yesterday what kind of topics you guys wanted me to answer, and I was thinking it was going to be like some fitness-related stuff, and everybody wanted to know about my current relationship, or just relationship advice, or my take on love, which I don't know if I'm qualified to answer, but I guess I'm going to try. So these are the questions that I got. I wrote them down. I got, how do you and your current girlfriend start? What's something you value in a relationship? What qualities, characteristics are in an ideal partner? What's the ultimate deal breaker in a relationship? What do you love about your relationship? How do you know someone is worth committing to? When is a good time to consider marriage? Are you in love? What lessons or insights did you learn from a past relationship that have influenced you in your current relationships? Oh man, so we're about to get deep on this, huh? You guys are about to know all about my personal life. So let's dive into it then. So how did you and your girlfriend start? So I was in Vegas and she was at work, she was dancing on the pole and I was throwing singles and I was like, damn, like I gotta have her. No, I didn't go like that. So, funny story, she was actually my client, was my client. I guess she still is my client, but she wasn't for a while. So my current girlfriend, let's see, she started my program maybe like 2 years ago. And during that time, I was currently in a relationship. I wasn't even looking at her like that at all. And then she took a break from my program and she was like traveling the world. And I was seeing her photos on IG in like Italy and fucking Rome and all these places. And I was like, damn. I'm like, she fucking looks good. I don't know what it was, but I started seeing her a little bit differently. And I knew she was going to be coming back in December. So when she came back, I slid in her DMs and was like, hey, are you coming back to boot camp? Which is my fitness program. And she's like, yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, for sure. Just come do like, a couple free sessions while you get situated. And she came back and, well, I don't know what it is, but she was looking right, and I was like, oh shit. So I remember the first day she came back, I was like, what the fuck? Like, what happened? Like, you've blossomed, so to speak. I gave her like a long hug. Like, those hugs when you just walk up to somebody, you give them like a hug and you kind of like walk with them for a second. You know what I mean? Like they're like backing up a little bit as you're like hugging them. It was like one of those moments where you're just like damn, like you could tell both of us were like genuinely excited to see each other. And I was kind of fresh out of a breakup, but I was like 2 months out of my previous relationship when she came back to boot camp, and she had just recently broke up with her boyfriend as well, but that was like 3 or 4 months, right? So both of us were single, and I was watching a UFC fight with my boy Jesse, and I remember my friend Annette invited me to go out to the bar, and I was like, oh, yo, Annette's single, I'm single, I'm gonna go see what's up with Annette, right? And like I wasn't even thinking about getting at Kenya at the time. But then when I got to the bar, I was just vibing with everybody. I was vibing with Annette, vibing with Kenya, just on some chill shit, just on some friendly shit. Joey Donor was there too. We were just having a blast and we kicked it like all night. We were having drinks, just chopping it up, catching up. We went on like a walk around the town at like 2 a.m. when the bar closed. And we were just kicking it, just chilling. And I remember like every weekend after that, they would hit me up and we would just like drive around, listen to music, whatever. And then I started getting like I was digging Kenya. Like I was really digging her because she's really quiet and she's very humble, but she's beautiful, but she doesn't like flaunt it, So that's like even more attractive to me when you're bad, but you don't have to say you're bad or you're not posting all these pictures trying to get likes. It's like a humble beauty, That's very, very attractive to me. So my slick ass, I was like, hey, so I knew that she could sing. I knew she could sing really well. And I rap. So I do music. And I was like, we could like connect on some music shit. So I was like, hey, we should like totally do a song together. Like I'll do a rap and you could do like the chorus, you do the song portion of it. Just threw it out there, right? And she was down. She was down for it. I was like, bet. So we linked up and we spent like 4 or 5 hours just in the studio. She was singing, I was doing my part with the rap. And you could tell there was like that tension there. Like, you know what I mean? I was attracted to her, she was attracted to me, but we weren't really comfortable yet because we hadn't really hung out that much, sober at least. So we made the song and it came out really dope and we kind of just bonded on that. And then the next week, we were all kicking it. We were like, yo, we should just go to like Disneyland. And I was like, y'all ain't trying to go to Disneyland. And they're like, yeah, like I'm down, let's go. So we literally, that next week, we just packed up our stuff, went to Disneyland for 2 days. And I was like, yo, this is dope. I mean, I don't know if anything's going to come out of it, but at least, you know, I'm in Disneyland with 2 hot girls. And it's going to be fun either way. So we're out there, we're kicking it, chopping it up, you know, like we all stayed the night together. Nothing happened, of course. But then when she came back, me and Kenya started hanging out a little bit more, going on runs. She was coming over to my place, cooking some food and whatnot. And then it kind of just turned into like, hey, I like you, you like me, whatever. You know, there was no like, will you be my girlfriend? Will you be my boyfriend? We just kind of started hanging out a lot. And one thing led to another, and then we're in a relationship. So yeah, it all happened really fast, very fast, like within maybe about a month. It's pretty cool. She's dope. Okay, let's move on to the next one. If you can't tell, like it's kind of strange for me to talk about, you know, my personal life like that. You know, it's not fitness. Okay, so next question. What is something that you value in a relationship? I have a lot of values in relationships. I mean, there's a certain standard. You guys know what I'm talking about. There's a certain standard you have for like someone that, you know, you're just hooking up with. That's, you know, this got to be kind of cute, whatever. If you're a guy, they just got to be nice, have some ass, whatever, you know. But in a relationship, you have to have like a much higher standard, you know, like do you get along with their personality? Are they like, do you get annoyed being around them? Are they loyal? Are they funny? Like, do they have a good personality? Do they have a nice body? Are they pretty? Are they smart? Are they educated? Are they driven? Do they have motivations and goals? So all those things I take in consideration, and she checked off all those boxes. But yeah, I mean, for me, it all comes down to like your look, of course, but looks aren't everything to me, you know? Like, I see pretty girls all the time. But what separates it is like, do you have a dope personality? Or are you like super stuck up and you think you're hella hot shit? Or are you super, like I was saying before, are you really, really, really pretty, but you don't acknowledge it and you're almost kind of like, you can almost tell that she's shy or she's kind of like insecure, but she has no reason to be because she's super bad. Like, I love that. It lowers her guard or lowers my guard. I wouldn't say lowers my guard, but it makes me more intrigued because I'm like, how the hell could you be this beautiful, but you're not like on IG thirst trapping all the guys. You're not on drinking every single night. Like what is it? There's got to be something interesting about you. And I want to figure out what that is. And then to find out like she's going to school, she was in the process of getting her bachelor's degree. Like that's super attractive to me. Like a woman who's educated and driven and kind of knows what they want to do with their life and isn't just like, man, I'm just working this kind of weird job and I don't really know what I want to do and blah, blah, blah. Like a girl that knows what she wants out of life, I find that very attractive because I'm very driven and motivated in my own life. So I like to see that in somebody I could picture myself with long term, somebody who has that independentness to them, which she does. And of course, let's see, what else is valuable to me? Loyalty, you know, are you loyal? Or are you hopping on like every dude's line, just try to get some attention? Are you secure in yourself enough to where you can be with just one guy at a time? Like those, like, are you honest? Like, are you brutally honest, even if you know it might hurt somebody's feelings? Or do you just tell people what they want to hear? Like those things are very important to me. Let's see. I guess that kind of ties into what qualities are in the ideal partner. So, you know, educated, smart, great personality, funny, driven and motivated, and has a great body, pretty face, all those things go into the ideal partner. I mean, who wouldn't want that? Who wouldn't want it, Let's see. What do you love about your current relationship? A lot of these are kind of similar, but I guess I can give a little bit of a different twist on it. So what do I love about my current relationship? I think it's that both of us are very independent. Like, I'm an entrepreneur, business owner, and she's like this very driven, educated corporate person who's high in the ranks. So we have these we're both driven in different areas. Like, I'm more on I'm going to get it on my own. I'm going to build something from scratch and I'm going to turn it into something amazing. And I'm going to come into an existing company and make it better and make it more profitable and just be a boss ass bitch. Like, that's what I like. I love, from the career side, I love that. I love that we can both be independent and do our things. But then when we come together, we can really just kind of shut off work and enjoy each other's company. I love that we can have, deep conversation. We could talk about life. We could talk about, our fears, our dreams, our aspirations and goals. But we can also just bullshit and just talk about nothing for hours on end and not get bored at all. Like, I know there's so many times where we're just kicking it. We're not on our phones. We don't have the TV going. We're just chopping it up. Like, I love that because you don't get that all the time. If you're with somebody that you're not quite as compatible with or doesn't quite have the conversation skills or life experience, you can't have those deep conversations with them. So you kind of have to dumb it down. And I'm not someone who likes to dumb myself down. I like to just kind of express myself. If you can't tell, I'm very, very expressive. So that's a couple things I love about my relationship. What else do we have on this list? When do you know when someone is worth committing to? When do you know when somebody is worth committing to? I think it's a lot of things. I think you have to really spend time with that person and kind of see if they fit what you're looking for in somebody that you want to be with long term, because you can talk to somebody who you think is attractive or who would be cool for, just a short period in your life, but you don't see them being with you long term, how many times have you, maybe you're somebody who goes to college and you have this 5-year plan of wanting to go to nursing school and do this and buy a house. And then this person is a writer who is kind of just working on their book and their project, but they don't really have any other goals in life. They're just kind of floating along, but they have a super dope personality. They're really good looking and you have fun when you're with them. That you can, obviously, for a short period of time, you can really enjoy that person and their company, in that short, small space in time. But in terms of long-term, value, don't really know if it's there. But if they align with what you want to do long-term and you can see yourself with them long-term and you can just imagine where they are right now, where you are right now, and if both of you guys just keep elevating without changing who you are, would it be something that you would want to have long term? And I think if the answer is yes, they're worth committing to. Don't settle down with somebody that you feel like you have to change or that you have to, you see potential in them, but you want to mold them to be your perfect partner, because that's never going to happen. You're never going to change somebody to be exactly what you want. So you need to take them as is and just know that if they continue to elevate at the rate that they're going, it's just going to be great for both of you guys, Let's see, what else? Oh, geez, this one. When is a good time to consider marriage? Take a sip of this water real quick. Jeez, marriage. So with marriage, I have a very particular view about it. And let me explain why. Before you guys tear me to shreds and say, I don't believe in marriage. That's not true. I do think marriage is important, but not in the reasons you might think. To me, it's okay, you can be with somebody. And so say if me and you were together and we have an amazing relationship, we're loyal, we're both on our purpose, we're both achieving things together, we start a family, we're loyal and we're giving it our all. What does a piece of paper change? It's not going to make you love that person more, because if that's the case, you weren't giving it your all in the beginning. You were holding yourself back until you get a ring on your finger. I don't think that it makes me any more loyal to you. I know some women will say like, oh, like you're not serious until you're actually like married. And I don't think that's true, because for me personally, I'm serious right out of the gate. Like, if I love you, I love you. If I'm going to be loyal to you, I'm going to be loyal to you. If I'm going to give it my all, I'm going to give it my all the time. Whether we're married, we're not married, we have kids, we don't have kids. I'm not going to be more or less committed based on if I'm your husband, you know? Like, if I'm your boyfriend and I'm your life partner and I'm with you long term, I already consider myself basically like your husband. So to me, I think marriage is important once it gets, to a certain point where you can tell that the girl is like, okay, what's the next step in the relationship? Because what are the biggest milestones of a relationship? It's like you get together, you got the honeymoon stage. At some point, you're going to want to start a family. At some point, you're going to want to move in together. And then at some point, you're going to want to get married. Those are like the three things: living together, children, and marriage. And to me, I feel like you have to live together first and have kids first before you get married. And let me tell you why. Because, like, how many times have people gotten married? Like, okay, maybe they live together, then they get married, then they have kids, which is typically like the traditional thing to do. But then once kids come around, the entire relationship changes. Like the person changes, that new extra stress changes something in the relationship, not for the good, right? And now you're bonded by this piece of paper where lawyers have to get involved if you guys want to break up. I don't think, like, that's just not smart, Like, I wouldn't want to go that route. Like, I would want to move in with you, make sure that I can stand living with you and seeing you every single day versus just going on dates and seeing each other after work. And if we're going to have children, I want to have kids with you first to see, how do we do as parents? How is the relationship once we're together? Obviously, we're always going to do whatever it takes to make sure the little ones are okay, but how are we? And if our love just grows even further and we're even stronger because of the baby and we live together, and you can just tell, like, we're not going anywhere. Like, this relationship is as fucking solid as it can ever get. At that point, I think it wouldn't hurt to get married. To me, the marriage is more so for the woman, the show, the wedding, the honeymoon, like all those things are for the woman. I don't know a single guy who's like, I just can't wait to be a husband. I can't wait to be married. They might be out there. Not me though. Like, I'm not like that. I feel like it's more so for the woman, to shower her in just more appreciation for the love that you have for her. And you just want to show her that, you are worth all of this. Because we've been through so much together, because we have children, because we live together, because we've already faced many of life's ups and downs together and we made it out. Like, I want to show you that, you're worth this diamond ring. You're worth this show and this party and the spotlight. So yeah, kind of a complicated answer, but that's my views on marriage. Right or wrong, that's just my views. I'm not saying that, my view is the only way. That's just how I view it. Okay, next one. Are you in love? Are you in love? Of course. Like, obviously, I'm in fucking love. And my girlfriend's watching this, I bet. So if I were to say anything different, that'd be a problem. I'm not even going to joke around. I'm definitely in love. What is love? I don't really know what it is. I think it's, I think there's a difference between being 15 and feeling like that high school love of like, oh my God, I finally have somebody likes me and I like them back. We're in love. And then this other like deep spiritual like connection of just knowing no matter what happens, you got that person, like you want to be there for them even when they're not feeling their best. Like, if they're having a bad day, you want to be there to try to make it better. If they're going through a rough time in life, you want to be there to try to comfort them. If they have certain goals in life, you want to be there to support them every step of the way. And you will give your whole heart and self to that person because you guys are a team. Like, that's what love is to me, personally. Yeah. I don't know if that's like the typical definition of it, but that's just my definition. It's like when I feel like our connection is so strong that we're a fucking team and I would just ride for you to the end. That's me, like that's love to me personally. Let's see what else. Last question here. what lessons or insights did you learn from a past relationship that has influenced you and your future / current relationship? Oh man, this could open up a whole can of worms, but let me just try to be very, very polite about this, okay? So my past relationship, for anybody who doesn't know, it was my first girlfriend. It was the person that I had lost my virginity to. It was somebody I started dating when I was 14 years old, 14, 13. I was very young. I think I was a freshman. And she was older than me. So the first time we dated, it was like that rush of like your first love, almost toxic to the point where like we would fight, we would call each other names, we would break up, get back together, break up, get back together. It was very toxic, and it fucked with my head a lot. And I talked to you guys about that before on my, why I got into fitness. And we split up after 2 years. I was still in high school, I was a junior, and just the lessons I learned from that was that, I don't want to be that way ever again. And what do I mean by that? Like in the relationship, there's a lot of name calling. Whenever we'd fight, we would just go balls to the wall. Like I would point out her insecurities, she would point out mine. There would be name calling, a lot of fights over text message, which is a terrible way to communicate. A lot of just ignoring each other, blocking each other on social media. Like all the childish stuff that you see some grown ass people do nowadays, I was doing when I was young. Let's see what else. Just being very insecure, almost possessive. Like she wouldn't want me to talk to other girls. I wouldn't want her to talk to other guys. I'd get jealous if she was texting somebody else or liking another picture. It was very toxic. So I learned I didn't want to be like that. So that's why I got into fitness, and I actually started building my own personal confidence so that I wouldn't be insecure in a relationship again, because I'm secure in myself. I wouldn't be controlling, because when you try to control somebody, you try to make them not do something, what happens? They end up doing it, Like if your parents ground you and tell you never to drink alcohol, it just makes you want to sneak out and drink alcohol. Like that's just what it is, that's just how it goes. So you got to be able to, not be super controlling, because it never works. It's never going to work. You can't intimidate a woman into not doing something or not doing what is in their nature, which is, to maybe find another guy attractive or any of those things. Like at the end of the day, if they're coming home to you, like that's all that matters. And if they're loyal. And then the name calling, like I didn't want to be like that, because I've seen my parents fight, and it just escalates to the point where you say something when you're angry and you say something you didn't mean, you can never take that back ever. And it's always going to be something that taints the relationship. Because you guys took it there. And once you take it there once, it's easy to go back to that place again. And that's real shit. Anybody here who has a relationship, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you guys ever get to the point where you call each other another name or you get physical, it's going to happen again. But if you have these hard boundaries, like I will never do this ever, then you're setting yourself up to have a much more successful relationship. So yeah, those were the things that I took with me from my first relationship. And then we broke up for 2 years, ended up getting back together as adults. I was 18, she was like 23 or something like that. And this time I was like, okay, this relationship's going to be solid, no name calling, no insecurities, none of that stuff. But how do I say this? It wasn't always reciprocated. When you're with somebody who isn't necessarily secure in themselves, they're always going to be worried about your phone. They're always going to be, when you're somebody who by nature, you work with women all day long, multiple women. And because of the nature of my business, I'm constantly texting clients back and forth. That can become a problem with somebody who isn't secure in themselves. So that was a big issue, And the biggest thing that I took from my second relationship, if I'm going to blame myself, is that I can't let myself get so wrapped up in work that I forget and neglect my own partner. I can't just be this ambitious guy all the time, which is why it's very hard to love me. It's very hard to be in a relationship with me, because I'm so driven. I'm always trying to accomplish something new. And these tasks take all of my mental energy at times, trying to build a business from scratch at 23 years old and spread the word and get known and get clients and build a reputation when you're just this young person, it takes everything that you got. And if anybody thinks you can fool yourself for a second that you can half-heartedly do it or half-ass it and be successful, you're out of your mind, you know? So I think the biggest problem was I was in a relationship with somebody who wanted the accolades of a successful man, of somebody who made something of himself, but she also wanted all the time in the world to be able to, get the attention and all that, and be able to hang out and spend time together, which wasn't always the case. A lot of you out there watching this, if you have a very busy husband who's on the road a lot, to make that kind of money, to be able to have the lifestyle that you want, there are sacrifices. You don't see them all the time. Military wives, you know what I'm talking about. You guys, there's a lot of sacrifices that you have to deal with in a relationship. And for me, I just think I was with not the right person. This person needed to be with somebody who, works a 9 to 5, has weekends off, who, when they're off work, they're off work. Like they can shut their phone off. I'm attached to this thing, I do everything myself when it comes to, the social media marketing, following up with clients, creating marketing campaigns and ads, and being able to follow up with those people and sell to them and be able to get them to come into my program. Like the ability to get strangers from behind a screen to take action and be able to pay you money and show up to your program when they don't know who the hell you are. There's an art to it, and it takes everything to be able to be successful at this. It's sales. If you don't give it your best, you're going to fail. And sales is a very hard job. So you got to make sure you are dedicated to it. You give it your best each and every time. And for me, if I'm not on point, if I'm not hustling, if I'm not selling, I don't make money. I can't pay bills at that point. So when you're in a relationship with somebody and they don't quite understand that, and it's like, hey, if I don't text this person back, yeah, right now it seems like, oh, just don't text them back. You could text them later. That's fine, but in the grand scheme of things, if that happens over and over and over again, a client can feel like you don't care about them. And why would you pay money to somebody who you feel like doesn't even care about you? You're just going to go take your services somewhere else. So that's one thing that I took with me. So I think that all of these lessons and insights that I got from my failed relationships really helped me to become the man I am now, who my current girlfriend gets to see and is like, dude, why are you so perfect? It's because I fucking made every mistake in the book. I had poor communication. I was insecure. I was controlling at one point. I was a workaholic. I was all of these things. I was a fucking drug addict at one point. There's so many things that I've been horrible at. And through that, I've gained lessons and been able to rearrange and craft my life to be much better. So now she has a man that is very intelligent, very supportive of her dreams and her goals, is a great listener, who is always there to help her work through a problem, who is independent and not clingy, who is driven and ambitious, who makes good money, who is not controlling or possessive or insecure in the least. So I don't ever feel the need to go through your phone or, why are you wearing this? I encourage all of those things. And a lot of this is it's kind of shocking because she doesn't and hasn't ever seen a man like that. That's because you haven't probably had a man that's fucked up as much as me, or somebody who hasn't learned from their mistakes. See, I'm the kind of person that if I make a mistake, I'm not going to make the same mistake twice. I'm going to get better at it, and I'm going to keep refining myself. And that's just my personality and what I plan to do forever. I'm self-improvement based, so you got the best version of me at this point. And I know I'm going to come across some other issues that I'll probably have, and I'm going to work through them and get better at them as we go. So I think that's something that I take with me into my new relationship, is just be there, be present. I did have a problem showing love. I felt like I was corny for telling someone how much I appreciate them or that I love them, or that it comes off as weak. I'm not like that anymore. I every day remind her of how much she means to me, that I'm blessed to have her in my life and that I'm thankful to have her on this journey of life with me. And that I appreciate all the small things, the little things, like getting me a Red Bull or sending me a good morning text, or just being there. I'm just appreciative of your presence. And I think when you get to a place in your relationship where you can just say you appreciate them for who the fuck they are, and there's nothing specifically that they are doing for you, and you just love being around them, that's a very good place to be in. That's when you can start considering kids and marriage and all these other things. Don't take that the wrong way, but you know what I mean? I don't know. So that's going to conclude this. I don't know if you've noticed, but there's a lot of little chops in the video because my camera's overheated 4 times so far, and I've had to restart it. So I hope it's not too noticeable. Thank you guys for sticking around and hearing all the juiciness of my relationships and my romantic life. And if you enjoyed this, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell, and let me know what other topics you would like me to cover. I'll be happy to do that. Thank you so much, guys. Have a great day. Darian signing out. Bye.